Hey YouTube, this is the Uline Quick Change Folding Knife. And it wasn't an item I was necessarily planning on ever doing any content on, but I came across this by accident and it turned out to be kind of cool. So I figured I'd share. This isn't a typical item that you just go and buy in many cases like you go to a store. So I don't know how available these are, but these are technically $8 a piece, and it feels very robust in construction for $8. And it's got some interesting features that I'm going to talk about. But before I get into that, I will say even though these are $8 a piece, it does require ordering them minimum 6 of them at a time. So these are really meant for companies that employ or have employees and they require this type of operation. Now, what this is basically a folding box cutter, which is kind of interesting because they just refer to it as a folding knife, which it is, but it's a box cutter. And the probably beyond the feature that it's foldable, and it has this really cool little clip here, which they refer to as a belt clip, which is kind of interesting. That's more of a pocket clip for me. But apart from that, the quick change feature comes from this little actuator here. You just simply pull back, that little thing on top pops up, and you just pull it out. And then you can either swap it to the other side, exchange it out for another one, but obviously a very easy to use, easy to change out, hence it being the quick change. Again, I think it's kind of interesting they refer to it as a folding knife and as a, apart from a utility knife. I know people have gone away from calling them box cutters per se, but really in most cases, even though the people might EDC a folding knife, like this is my current EDC folding knife, the Spyderco Canis, a knife that was designed for combat, for actual knife fighting. Most people don't need. Most people, I'd say 99% of people, probably just need to open their boxes for work or their Amazon packages at their house from all their doodads that they order from various places. So this is probably what most people need. So if you can maybe think of a situation, maybe you are an employer and you want to get your employees a cheap cutting option, or maybe you're entertaining gift ideas for multiple people, you can spring on, minimum of 6 of these. That's $48. 6 times 8 is 48 still, right? But it's pretty cool. And again, it's pretty heavy. It feels very robust in construction. This is a a $250 knife here. And there's some things of this knife that feel on par with this knife. Now, granted, this isn't Jurassic Park. It doesn't, just because it's heavy doesn't always mean necessarily it's expensive. But another thing about this is that, like, a lot of the quote unquote Spydercos, but that has the, the quick deployment there, this also has a kind of a gravity knife aspect to it. See that? It's kind of hard to do, when the camera is 1 foot away from it. But when I'm just holding it out here, like so, see that? Deploys very quickly and very easily. So another thing that's really interesting, as you know, most knives, if not all knives, come with little either Torx screws or hex screws. This has Phillips screws, which is kind of interesting, even on the quick change apparatus itself. Now, I don't know, I've had to take knives apart before to clean them. I don't know, with this being the low cost, if you're going to entertain that amount of maintenance, but it does look like you can disassemble it. The only thing that I'm questioning the disassembly on is this main stud here. I don't know if you could get a pin in there and knock it. I don't know, maybe it's something you'd have to drill out, replace with a bolt or something if you were serious, but probably not, because it's probably got specific, washers in there or something. But either way, I thought this was really cool, the Uline quick change folding knife, so I figured I'd share for anybody that was interested. You can find these on Uline's website. I came across this because a manager at work, not my manager, but a guy that works for me that is a manager, had a box full of these on his desk when I was in his office talking to him, and I was like, hey, I automatically, saw the knife shape, and obviously I have an affinity for knives, so I was like, what's the deal with all the Uline knives? And he's like, yeah, they had to confiscate those for some strange reason. So he just had a box of them, and I was like, well, can I get one of those? Let's see if you can flip it out like a knife. Looks like you can. It's like, can I get one of those? He's like, yeah, take two. So I might actually go back and get another one. But you can get these um, standard blades, and then they have something called safety blades, which I'm not really even sure what those are. But the quick change certainly works well. That's it. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.